The drip had been there for days, soft at first, almost polite, like a reminder Emma Carter kept ignoring. Then one cold morning in her small Oregon home, the kitchen sink finally gave up. Water burst out from under the cabinet, spreading across the floor, soaking papers she hadn't sorted since the divorce. Emma rushed for towels, her hands shaking as memories floated up with the water, bills with only her name now. Photos of a life that had quietly ended. Standing alone in the mess, she felt tired of fixing everything by herself. With a deep breath, she grabbed her phone and searched for a plumber, hoping for someone quick and affordable. One name stood out, not because of flashy ads, but because of the calm smile in the photo beside it, Daniel Brooks. When she called, his voice was steady and kind. He promised to come within the hour. True to his word, a dusty blue truck pulled into her driveway just as rain began falling again. Daniel stepped out, tall and strong, but gentle in the way he moved. His work boots were worn, his jacket stained with years of honest labor. When he smiled, Emma felt something ease inside her chest, something she hadn't felt in a long time. Safety. He introduced himself simply and followed her into the kitchen where water still pooled on the tiles. Without wasting time, he knelt down and opened the cabinet, tools clinking softly while he studied the broken pipe like a puzzle he had solved many times before. Emma leaned against the counter, watching. The quiet felt strange after months of living in silence. Daniel hummed lightly while he worked, a tune she didn't recognize but liked. He asked how long the leak had been going. She admitted she had hoped it would fix itself. He chuckled, not in judgment, but with understanding. He told her most people waited until things overflowed before asking for help. His words felt like they meant more than just plumbing. As he tightened the pipe, he glanced at the half-packed boxes in the corner of the kitchen and the lonely look of the house. "Big change?" he asked gently. "Divorce," she replied, her voice low. "I'm sorry," he said without pity, only warmth. She nodded, surprised by how easily the truth came out. She hadn't talked about it much. Friends tried to cheer her up, but most days she just pushed forward, fixing what she could and ignoring what hurt. Daniel worked quietly again, and in that silence she felt strangely understood. The leak slowed, then stopped completely. "There," he said with a soft smile. "Good as new." Relief washed over her, not just about the sink, but about everything. She thanked him, handing him a towel when she noticed water on his hands. Their fingers brushed for just a second, but the touch felt louder than thunder in the quiet kitchen. Both pulled back quickly, almost embarrassed. As Daniel packed his tools, he explained that he ran a workshop downtown where he repaired old furniture and broken household items. He spoke about it with pride, like it was more than a job, like it was a place that gave life back to things others had given up on. "If you ever need something fixed, you can bring it by," he said, handing her his card. "I like saving things when I can." Emma looked at the card, then back at him. "Thank you for coming so fast," she said. He smiled again, softer this time. "Sometimes people just need help, right when things fall apart." Those words stayed with her. After he left, the rain continued tapping against the windows, but the house no longer felt quite as empty. Emma cleaned the kitchen slowly, replaying the sound of his voice in her head, the calm in his eyes. It felt strange how someone she had met for less than an hour had made her feel less alone than people she'd known for years. She told herself it was just relief from the leak being fixed, but deep down she knew it was more than that. Later that evening, as she sat on the couch with a cup of tea, her eyes wandered around the living room, landing on the old wooden chair near the window. The leg was cracked and wobbly, something she had meant to throw away for months. It had been her mother's favorite chair, the one she used to sit in while telling stories when Emma was young. Emma had kept it after her mother passed, even though it was broken, because letting it go felt like losing another piece of her past. She picked up Daniel's card again. The workshop address stared back at her. for reasons she couldn't explain. Her heart beat faster. Maybe it was about the chair. Or maybe it was about wanting to see that gentle smile again. Outside, the rain slowed and the house felt quieter than ever, but not in a lonely way, more like something new was about to begin. Emma didn't know it yet, but that small leak had opened a door she never planned to walk through. A door toward healing, toward connection, toward a man whose life had also been shaped by loss. And by the end of that night, she made a quiet promise to herself. Tomorrow, she would visit the workshop, not just to fix a chair, but to see where this unexpected feeling might lead. The next morning, Emma loaded the broken chair into the back of her car, wrapping it with an old blanket so it would not scratch. She told herself she was only going to fix furniture, nothing more. Yet her hands shook slightly as she drove through town. The address on Daniel's card led her to a brick building near the old train tracks. The paint was faded, but the windows were clean and warm light glowed inside. A wooden sign hung above the door that read Brooks Workshop. For a moment she sat in the car, breathing slowly, then finally stepped out. A small bell rang when she opened the door. The smell of wood, coffee, and metal filled the air. Sunlight streamed through high windows, landing on shelves packed with tools, old lamps, chairs, radios, and half-fixed tables. It felt like a place where broken things came to rest and slowly found new life. Daniel stood near a workbench, sanding a table leg. When he looked up and saw Emma, surprise spread across his face, then turned into a warm smile. "Emma," he said, wiping his hands on a cloth. "I didn't expect to see you so soon." "I brought something," she said, lifting the blanket to show the chair. He walked over carefully, touching the cracked leg like a doctor checking a patient. "This one's special, isn't it?" She nodded. "It was my mom's." "I can fix it," he said softly. "It'll take a little time, but it'll be strong again." Relief filled her chest. She hadn't realized how much she needed to hear that. Daniel cleared a space and gently placed the chair on his work table. As he worked, Emma sat on a small stool nearby, watching the careful way he measured, glued, and tightened the wood. He explained every step, his voice calm and steady. Was easy to listen to him, easier than she expected. They talked about simple things at first, where Emma grew up. How long Daniel had lived in town, how he learned to repair things from his father. The more they spoke, the more natural it felt, like they had known each other longer than a day. After a while, Daniel poured 2 cups of coffee from a small machine in the corner and handed one to her. "Workshop fuel," he joked. She laughed, surprised at how comfortable she already felt there. Over the next few days, Emma kept finding reasons to return. The chair needed drying time. Then a shelf in her kitchen felt loose. Then a lamp flickered too much. Each excuse brought her back to the warm light of the workshop and the steady presence of Daniel. Sometimes he worked while she talked. Other times they sat and shared stories while glue dried or paint settled. One afternoon, Emma finally spoke about her marriage. She told him how things had started with love and dreams, then slowly turned quiet. How her husband came home later each night, stopped asking about her day, stopped looking at her like she mattered. How the divorce wasn't loud or angry, just empty. "It felt like being slowly forgotten," she said, staring at the floor. Daniel listened without interrupting. "That kind of pain stays quiet," he said gently. "But it's deep." She looked up, surprised by how well he understood. Then he shared his own story. His wife Lily had gotten sick 5 years earlier. They spent months in hospitals, hoping, praying, believing she would recover. But one winter morning, she slipped away while he held her hand. After that, the house felt too quiet. The nights too long. He threw himself into work because being busy hurt less than being still. "This workshop saved me," he admitted. "It gave me something to fix when I couldn't fix what mattered most." Emma's heart ached for him. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Thank you," he said. Talking about her doesn't hurt as much anymore. From that day on, their bond deepened. They laughed more. They teased each other gently. Emma started bringing lunch, and they ate on overturned crates, sharing sandwiches and stories. Daniel taught her how to sand wood and paint evenly. She wasn't very good at first, but he encouraged her like every mistake was part of learning. "You're getting better," he said one day, as she painted a small table. "So are you," she replied, smiling. "At what?" "At smiling." He paused, then laughed quietly. As the chair slowly returned to life, stronger and steadier than before, Emma realized something was changing inside her too. The heaviness she carried since the divorce felt lighter. She woke up excited again, like she dressed nicer without even trying to. She checked the time, counting hours until she could visit the workshop. Daniel felt it too. Sometimes their eyes met for longer than necessary. Sometimes silence felt full instead of awkward. Sometimes Emma caught him watching her when he thought. She wasn't looking, but neither of them crossed the line between friendship and something more. Fear lived quietly between them. One evening, as the sun painted the windows gold, Daniel finished tightening the final screw on the chair. "There," he said proudly, "better than before." Emma touched it carefully, then sat down. It didn't wobble at all. "You saved it," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "No," he replied. "You did. You didn't give up on it." Their eyes met again, closer this time. The air felt heavy with words neither of them said. "Emma," Daniel began softly, then stopped. "What?" she whispered. He swallowed. "Nothing. Just, I'm glad you came that first day." "Me too," she said. Outside, the sky darkened as night approached. Emma stood to leave, her heart racing. "See you tomorrow?" Daniel asked, trying to sound casual. "Yes," she answered quickly. But as she walked to her car, she felt the truth settling deep inside her chest. She wasn't coming back just for broken furniture anymore. She was coming back for him. And Daniel knew it too. Neither of them said it yet. But something beautiful was growing in the quiet space of that workshop. Something fragile, something hopeful, something that could change both their lives if they were brave enough to let it.